Welcome back, everybody. As you probably guessed from the title of the video, we're going over this pistol in my hand right here. This is the Smith Wesson M&P 2.0 Shield Plus Optics Ready Performance Center non-ported gun. That is a lot to swallow there, so we'll break all of that down throughout the video. But the big thing, first and foremost, is what is the Shield Plus? Well, the Shield, what is still a very successful concealed carry gun, very reliable, very durable, very proven gun. And basically what Smith Wesson did was take that concept and add a touch of girth to the frame to change it so that instead of having 7 or 8 plus 1 capacity, it now has 10 or 13 plus 1 capacity, and 14 rounds in a small compact gun like this is nothing to sneeze at for sure. I've previously reviewed the regular version of the Shield Plus, and now we're going to get into the Performance Center version. It does come in a 4-inch configuration like you see it here. It also comes with ports if you so choose. I chose not to have it. It comes in an optics ready version, which we have here. It also comes in a non-optics ready version, and it also comes with a optic if you want, and it also comes without it. So either way you want, there's a lot of different configurations you can get it in. I will tell you though, this version that I have right here is the most expensive version of it, so there is that. But let's get up close and personal, take a look at all the details of the firearm, and then at the end we'll wrap it up with what I think of it and how it's performed. Before we get up close and personal on the gun, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, and that sponsor is GunSpot. For folks who are unfamiliar with them, it is an online auction site where you can purchase, sell, exchange, all types of things, not just firearms related stuff, but primarily firearms related stuff as well as firearms. So if you're looking to pick one of these up, you can check it out, see if anybody's selling one over there. And if you have a firearm, a machine gun, a silencer, whatever the case may be, a regular pistol, a scope, you can head over there, create an account, and then sell it there, and let the market figure out what it's actually worth. So it is an excellent site. It's very easy to use. And again, big thanks to our sponsor, GunSpot. Now let's get up close and personal on this pistol. For the details of the gun itself, we will start here at the bottom and sort of work our way up. Like I said, 10 or 13 round magazines, and you can see how they did that. If you take a look here at the original Shield mag, you'll see that it was a sort of 1.5 stack, if you will. Not a single stack, it is a staggered stack, and then it comes up to feed from a single point here. And you guys can see basically what they did was just widen it out that much. And you go from having, of course, 7 here in this particular magazine to 13 here in this particular magazine. Like I said, not insignificant there at all. And in terms of length, it's pretty darn similar with the 10 rounder here as it is with the 7 rounder. It's in fact exactly the same, as you guys can see. Again, just a touch wider in there. And then if you have your 10 round in there, you can see it's going to make it a little bit shorter overall if we actually put it in there. And I can get about half a pinky on there with my hands, but my hands are very large, so some of you guys may be able to get a full grip on there with that 10 plus 1 configuration. Getting into the actual grip itself, it has that standard 1911 grip angle that a lot of folks really like. It does point very naturally in the hand. I do like that. It has Shield Plus, the same texture as the original one on the Performance Center there. Compared to the M&P 2.0 Shields, it's a little bit less aggressive. Some folks complain that this was too aggressive. Myself, personally, I like aggressive grips. I would prefer it to be a little bit more aggressive. That said, shooting this out in the heat, Carolina summer, very humid, I've never had it moving around on me, even when my hands are sweaty like they are right now. So it does a perfectly fine job if you grip the pistol properly. Magazine release here comes on the left side, but it is reversible if you want to do so. The mags are cut for both sides there. As you guys can see, you can swap it out very easily should you choose to do so. We have our slide lock here and slide release. This is a no thumb safety model. Now they do make a version of this gun with the thumb safety if you choose to do that. Me personally, I would not, but it's up to you. Everybody's an adult, make your own choices. We have our takedown lever here, which we'll get to here in just a second. Then up here we have our dust cover, which is thinned out, and of course our slide that we'll get to here in just a second. First though, we want to address this trigger. On the Shield Pluses, this is a new trigger compared to the old Shields and even the M&P full-size pistols. As you guys can see here, instead of having a hinge on there like it has traditionally had, let me make sure it's clear, it is, instead of having a hinge on there, it has this safety. So if you pull back here on the trigger, there's no way for it to actually engage unless you depress that portion right there. Then you also note that it does have an over travel stop here on the rear. which is a performance center feature, and it has a take up there and then a brake. It brakes on this particular gun right at 4 pounds or just over, like 4.2. The performance center trigger is all polished up and shined up, as you guys will see here in just a second. And the reset, fantastic, tactile, audible. And then the brake, again, it's clean, it's easy to shoot well. If you can't shoot this pistol well, it's probably because you don't shoot all that well rather than the gun itself. So moving on to the slide, it does have a melanated finish, which is going to give you really good corrosion resistance, as well as surface hardness, as well as just durability in terms of long-term performance. You can see here we're starting to get some wear marks on it. Not sure if that's coming up on the camera, but one benefit of having a nitrided slide is that the actual corrosion resistance and stuff is not just the black that you see on the surface. It actually impregnates those properties into the metal, which is nice. The sights on it are going to be fiber optic, really good. I have zero issues with the sights. One thing I like about them is that it has these steel sort of wraparound pieces on there you guys can see, and what that does is it protects the actual fiber optic rods from breaking. It's something that fiber optic sights are known for, and it's just a nice piece of protection there. Of course, you can still replace them with any different colors should you choose to do so, but it is red and green from the factory. And additionally, like I said, this one here comes with the optic, this crimson trace here with a 5 MOA dot in there. And what's cool about this optic is that it has this cut right down the middle, which allows you to co-witness these sights with the red dot. And it's extremely low, as you guys can see there. Comes with this cover there, which I really don't know why, because according to the manual, it has 20,000 hours of battery life. So you really don't need to cover it, but I guess you can, and when you do, it does go off because it has an auto adjusting light sensor in there. There's a pro and a con to that, of course. The pro of it is that it's going to adjust on a really bright day to be really bright, but indoors, if you happen to use a light, or at night if you happen to use a light, it will not be as bright as it needs to be. That said, again, with this particular configuration, you still have the use of your iron sights, which again is a good thing. Disassembling the pistol for maintenance is pretty straightforward. We're going to drop our magazine, and we're going to lock the slide to the rear by pushing up here on our slide lock, slide release lever, and ensure that there are no rounds in there, and there aren't. It does have the ability to be taken down without pressing the trigger by this sear release button. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but it's yellow in there. I'm not sure if my camera will focus. It probably won't. Regardless, you guys will see it here in just a second when we take the firearm apart, and we're going to rotate this selector down. If you actually push that sear lever forward, you won't have to press the trigger, but we're going to release the slide, point in a safe direction, press the trigger, and our slide will come off. And that thing I was talking about is this little portion right here, that yellow piece. Again, if my camera will focus. And there you go. You can take a look there at the internals. Every part of the trigger, you can see the sear there at the back is all polished up. That's just one of the things you get there with the performance center guns. We do have our steel recoil spring and guide rod barrel there. This is the 4-inch model, of course. It has a nice wide polished feed ramp on there. And overall, just is a very solid barrel. The new M&P barrels shoot excellent. The first generation had some issues with accuracy, but these guns shoot like lasers nowadays, so there's absolutely no worries there on that part. Again, all of the trigger components are polished up and rounded off there just to give it a little bit better trigger pull than the standard one has. That said, in my opinion, both of them have very good trigger pulls, so it's really not something to complain about either way. And reassembling the gun is the same thing, of course, just in the opposite order. Lock it to the rear, rotate our switch, let it go, and we're good. I mentioned it earlier, but again, the big difference on the Shield Plus is just that grip thickness. And here we have our standard M&P 2.0 Shield Performance Center gun, so pretty much identical in every way, with the exception there of that width that you guys can see, and it is not much, as you can tell. When you carry it, there is a slight difference in my opinion, but very, very slight. The one thing I will say is that it does give you a fuller grip. So again, somebody like me with large hands, I do prefer the grip on this to the one here on the original Shield 2.0. And just comparing it to, again, the different performance center here that we have, which is the standard barrel length. You guys can see, again, it's just going to stick down a little bit more, whether that matters to you. Again, it's kind of your call on that one and your preference, how you carry those sorts of things. And then, of course, here we have our Glock 48, and you guys can get an idea there size-wise, how they stack up. If we put the slides right there at the back, In terms of length, it's pretty much identical. And you guys can see there width. And then the Glock is definitely a little bit bulkier than the Shield is, as you guys can see. At this point in the video, we've gone over most of the important features with the exception of a couple. One is going to be reliability, which is always critically important. This gun has had 0 issues of any kind to date. Put just over 600 rounds through it, which isn't a ton, but again, the Shields are really proven systems at this point, so I'm not really worried about reliability and durability. And again, had 0 malfunctions. The majority of that has been Minuteman Munitions, which we appreciate them as a sponsor here on the channel for sure. And in terms of cost, like I said earlier, this is the most expensive one that you can get. They make all different versions of performance centers with different feature sets that are going to range from probably $650 up to about $850, which is where this one lands right now as of when I'm recording this video. It may be more or less in the future. You never know, but right now firearms are in high demand, particularly concealed carry guns like this one. So if you find it in stock, that's essentially a good deal because they go out of stock very, very quickly. Smith Wesson did send this one out to me for the review, just full disclosure on that one. But all in all, it's a fantastic gun. I really like the Performance Center upgrades that it has. I like the Shield Plus upgrades that it has. And if you like carrying with an optic and it wants something that's very compact and low profile, this is a great option. The one thing I'd say, of course, is that this Crimson Trace optic here, while it does have good battery life, which is awesome, the auto adjusting is something you have to decide whether or not you like or dislike for your particular use. And then additionally, it's not going to be as durable as like an RMR. It's just not, due to the way the hood is designed. That said, if you don't plan on doing a bunch of shoulder drops on the concrete, it'll probably be okay for you. We did some one-handed manipulations with it and it was just fine. It didn't shear off or anything like that. So it probably will be just fine. But again, that's a personal preference thing as to what you want to do with your carry optics. So all in all, like I said, very, very good gun. And that's pretty much it in terms of the firearm itself. If you guys like this type of video and you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We do videos like this all the time. And if you are subscribed, just double check that because lately YouTube has been unsubscribing a lot of people from my channel. It is what it is. So to combat that, we have a videos email, which basically we send out videos, all the videos since the last email went out, roughly once or twice a month. You can sign up for that here at the link on your screen. We also have a daily deals email. So that way, if this thing goes on sale, comes in stock, whatever the case may be, we will send it out along with the other deals that we find along the way at the email address that you guys see here on your screen. And then additionally, our videos are over at the Warrior Poet Society Network. In addition to YouTube, if you don't want to watch here, you can watch over there. And there's no ads on my videos over there, and they are free to watch. However, they do have premium content, and there is a 10% discount code for that in the video description. It's really good stuff. If you like this video, you would like that stuff. It's way better than this in terms of production quality for sure. And that's pretty much all I got for you guys. That's the end of my spiel. Thank you very much for watching to the end. I truly appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing everybody in the next video.